So I was thinking about Tom Ridge's combinator parsers, and people asking him what it's for. And the useful thing about non-deterministic parsing, or one useful thing I thought would be to take those I called it A, but there are various ways you can cook up a one-point basis for combinatory logic, so that you have some combinator A which is applied to itself a certain number of times. It can do either S or K, and therefore it can do I as well. So the proofs are longer, but with one point you can do one combinator, you can do any proof you can do in SK combinator calculus. And so what you could do is, you know the type of this one point combinator A, and so you can do type inference on the parse trees returned by a non-deterministic parse, and just keep the well-typed ones, and then you parse strings of length 1, 2, 3, and so on. And you're basically just enumerating all the combinatory proofs, and in a certain order. Which corresponds to an enumeration of a whole lot of programs in simply typed lambda calculus. I don't know anything about how quickly they grow or anything like that, and I'm not sure how efficient it is to use. I guess just to use Hindley-Milner type inference on it. But the connection with mathematics in general is that historically group theory was something kind of abstracted from Galois' trick of swapping, of talking about classes of solutions in terms of swapping the variable names, and he was exploring symmetry in those kinds of equations, so and the solutions to those kinds of equations. But later on people studied groups axiomatically and asked questions about how many groups there were of this order and characterized them and this and that and the other. And this body of theory was built. And then they started talking about more complex structures with actually fewer axioms, and this business of groupoids. But in that enumeration of theorems, you're going to get some. Now, it may not correspond to anything that a human being would find interesting, but I just can't help thinking that there might be a more efficient way to study these things than following the historical development. And lots of people think that. Because there's a kind of natural order to mathematics, and then the question is, what does that natural order come from? If it's not the historical order, then it's some internal logical coherence. And what kinds of internal logical coherences would induce a natural order? And I would have thought consistency and congruence, consistent congruences would be fairly high up on the list of things you would want to study, and so on and so forth. It seems to me quite reasonable. This is just a calmer version of what I said yesterday.